All right, all right. What's up? What's up? Hopefully, we're coming in loud and clear. Y'all like the new intro?
I think it's nice.
Oh boy, what's going on? What's going on? We are back again, and let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Who is Nasir?
Ooh, that's a big change.
Oh gosh, so much has changed, and it actually is right in alignment with this topic that we're going to go in with today, which is recognizing cycles of opportunity.
Hmm.
Okay, um, this is something that was mentioned before a few years ago that I actually went through and changed my name. And you know what? We were really going through and doing the rebranding. And I
Hmm.
noticed that, I keep using the name Chris, and that's not my name anymore.
Okay.
That was more of a stage name
Mm.
up till a certain point. So now I will be going by Nasir. Just FYI. So if you're wondering why it doesn't say Chris and Leisha, that's because, yeah, the name has been changed. I don't know. We may just let y'all keep using Chris because y'all got so used to
I
it, but
know.
um, that's what we're gonna go with right
All
now.
these changes, you just hitting them, changing the
Just
name, all these
one by
name
one.
changes. It's okay.
All
It's right in
right,
alignment.
cool beans, and we're just going to. All right, just want to make sure that the audio is coming in. Um, and if you haven't already, just to get a little housekeeping out of the way, please drop a like on the video if you're watching this live or if you're watching this on a replay. Help help a brother and sister out and getting back on the algorithm.
Because we haven't been here in a minute. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did one a couple days ago, but it's still taking us some time to get back on these YouTube streets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so we're slowly switching things around. Actually, a lot of things have been switched around
Yeah.
so far. Um, if you haven't followed us already, we are on Instagram. You can follow us there at Journey Within Awaken Minds.
Hmm.
Also on TikTok
Yeah, we started posting.
or the TikTok since we're
No, you don't. No, you don't.
oh, whoa, we're on TikTok, as well as our Patreon.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, right now, since we're just kicking things back off, right now, just really trying to build things up. Um, the Patreon is available, but a lot of the exclusive stuff isn't there yet.
Hmm.
It's in the process of being built up, just because we got to get back into the rhythm
Yeah.
and the cycle of doing videos and putting out content.
Hmm.
So stay posted, keep posted with us, so stay up to date. If you want to join on the Patreon, it is greatly appreciated because it just helps supports us. It helps us to be more encouraged to put out more content
Right.
because you all are asking for it. So if you want to speed up that process, go ahead and join.
Go ahead and join Patreon.
Go ahead and join Patreon. Okay. And if you are feeling generous, drop a donation. I'm gonna take this from Q Reeves, $1 holla. Uh, you can send it to Leisha's Cash App, which is Leisha's Legacy. Okay,
Hmm.
$sign
Yeah.
Leisha's Legacy.
You
All
guys
right,
know about Alicia's legacy. We talked about that, but that's another video. We'll talk more about that in another video.
all right. So we know that we're just getting back into this rhythm, but we still got content and information to share with you all.
Yes.
Meaning, with the topic today, as far as recognizing seasons, okay,
Yes.
this is kind of like a guide to really help you all in understanding when things should be over and when things are starting, okay.
Hmm.
And actually, should we give a little backstory as to why we even decided to go on this one?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay, so how can we say, you know what, I'm gonna switch things around a little bit
Hmm.
because just because Just
shoot
because.
from the hip.
Okay. So we have been doing, gosh, I can't say this without saying it, but
You can.
yeah. Okay. So, um, we have many irons on the fire right now. Okay. And one of those things is starting to cool down. And we thought that it was going to be burning for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it is showing signs that it is whimpering down. And so we, especially my baby, paid attention to that sign of it whimpering down.
Yeah.
And we started putting things into play in order to, what's the word I'm looking for? In order to take that spot or to get something rekindling in that spot.
Correct.
So that we can keep our things going, because one monkey don't stop no show.
That's right.
Okay. So in us recognizing that pattern, it was like, wow, what if some other people don't recognize
when it's time when it's time to move on? Like, but you have to be able to see it early, because if you see it too late, then it could be a rough transition. And those nudges are really, really important to pay attention to, because the nudges will tell you, hey, it's time to leave, or hey, it's time to start. So a lot of times we don't pay attention to those nudges. We just ignore it. And we end up in really tough situations because we're not paying attention to our intuition. And we got some stuff here that we want to share with you. My baby found some articles, and we're going to read them together. They're really, really interesting. And all of these people paid attention to their intuition, that gut instinct, and it literally saved their life.
Yep.
So we wanted to come on here and touch on this topic as the seasons change literally right now.
Yep.
You got to know when to shift gear.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got to understand. And, you know, in one of the Madeira plays, she talked about this so well.
One of my favorites.
And it not only applies to relationships, it applies to business ventures, friendships, lovers, partners. It applies to just about everything in life. And in that scenario, he talked about how, and I think, to be exact, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, you can put it in the chat or put it in the comments, that it was referring to people as friends or people that supposed to be in your life, right? And so he was mentioning that, or she was mentioning, I don't know how you're supposed to say that when it's Madeira or
she.
whatever.
Madeira is a she.
Madeira is a she, okay. So what she was saying was that some people in your life are like leaves. They only around for a season. As soon as the season comes around, the wind blows just a little bit, the leaves gone, okay? Some people are like tree limbs, right? And sometimes those tree limbs can hold a lot of weight. But if you put too much on those limbs, they break.
Leave you in midair.
Okay? But then what was the ones that he said that you really should hold on to?
The roots.
And why the roots, though?
Because even though you don't see them, for the most part, that is where all the nutrition comes from that allows the tree to survive even after all the leaves have left, even after all the seasons has come and gone. The roots continuously sustain that tree throughout all seasons, but you don't see them, do you?
No.
Very rarely do you see the roots.
Nope, you don't. And you know what? We recognize who our roots are.
Right.
We recognize what business opportunities are our roots. We know which ones are the limbs and which ones are the leaves, and we plan accordingly. And sometimes it's not as easy to pinpoint these parts of the tree when it comes to your reality.
That's true.
And so one of the things that really helped us along in our journey is developing our intuition.
Yep.
Okay. And our intuition, it acts like an internal compass, right?
Mm-hmm.
It alerts us of seasonal opportunities. Instead of just chasing everything that comes around, you just have to stop and listen to that inner voice. Okay. And the intuition is just, it acts as a bridge to like greater knowledge of understanding when something should flourish or when something should die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For example, like we said, there was some an article that we have found where people actually paid attention to their gut feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And let me see if we can share this with you all real quick. You gotta give me a moment. It's
No.
Zeus, chill out.
Okay.
Oh gosh, ain't no telling what's getting him all riled up. But let me get this pulled up here. Bear with me for a moment, y'all. Boom,
There
there
we
we
go.
go.
Yep.
Okay. Now in this article, this is on BuzzFeed, right? 22. Gosh, these ads. Nobody. Y'all ain't paying us for these ads. 22 chilling moments where people got the gut feeling that something was terribly wrong, and they were right. Uh, Now check this first story out. This one got me right off the rip. Okay. Come on, mouse. My mouse don't want to act right. Okay. First one, right? Gut feelings are good things. I was driving a full size bus one day, waiting on at a red light. The light turned green, and I took my foot off the brake. Not sure what spooked me, but I put my foot back on the brake. A 18-wheeler went roaring through the red light at my left side. So whoa,
Hmm.
whoa, buddy. Like if he didn't pay attention to that, those kids, that driver, it would not have been a good story.
And it didn't even. You see the thing that you have to pay attention to when it comes to your intuition, sometimes it doesn't always make sense. Sometimes it's not always logical. That's what trips people up, because sometimes you're always looking for some type of logical explanation. But
Mhm.
intuition doesn't always work like that.
No.
It's that gut feeling that you get, and you have to pay attention to it because it could be a matter of life or death.
Hmm. Speaking of life and death, let me share with you this other one. Now, this one is the one that she really paid attention to her gut feeling on this one.
I've had that
Okay.
happen to me before too.
Like my aunt was a member of the sorority house that Ted Bundy was in and killed those girls.
Mm.
Thank God she left the house right before he got there. So something in her spirit just told her, girl, don't you go to,
Right.
like, you need to go. And actually, um, well, for you, this may be a little bit different when it came to 9/11.
Mm.
Was that just the spirits keeping you away from being at the towers, or was that a gut feeling?
No, that was the spirits.
Oh, that was spirits.
No, I was just
Okay.
always. I was young, so I was never
Mm.
on time for anything, like at all. Like I used to be an hour and a half late for work. I don't even know how I still work there. I guess I was good, but yeah, I was literally like an hour and a half late for work that day. That's how I missed the whole thing, because I was
Mm.
working on 42nd Street.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's the spirits.
Okay. Okay. So that's the spirits.
Yeah.
So trusting that intuition, trusting that gut feeling is one that really needs to be developed. If you have just the smallest of nudge,
Yeah.
um, just go with it. It may
Go with
seem
it.
crazy, but go with it.
Yeah. And we really on here tonight because we don't really know who needs to hear this. It might be somebody who is listening to this, after the live, but this might be for you. If you are in a position, or if you are with someone, and you're feeling like it's time for me to move on from this person, or it's really time for me to leave this particular place of employment, so to speak, or it's time for me to start adding more to myself, whatever that feeling is. I think we are here to tell you to pay attention to it. Like now is the time. Go ahead and pay attention to it. If you need to switch careers, go ahead and do it. If you need to get out of a toxic relationship, now is the time to do it.
Yes.
It's been in there talking to you for some time, but you hadn't been listening. So you gotta listen now.
Yeah. Yeah. And when it comes to cycles and understanding when to get in and when to get out,
Mhm.
there's also the part of patience
Yes.
plays a part.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Whew, patience.
Because when it comes to seasons, you have to understand that there is planting season and then there's harvest season.
Yes.
Okay. So right now we are in the harvest season.
Yeah, we are in our season of harvest because we have spent almost this entire year planting. We've been planting in July, I want to say June, July, August, September. We were planting. And so now, hard.
Sun up and sun down.
Sun up, literally. That's why we really hadn't been making content. But now we are literally reaping all of those rewards, like if you want to call it rewards. But now is our harvest season. And so after the harvest is if you're not prepared for after your harvest, you can have a drought, a period where you really don't have, because you're harvesting, but there's really not, if you're not careful while you're harvesting, there's nothing that is planted, right? Because you're so focused on the harvest. So you want to be very careful.
Yeah. And for somebody, us saying that this is a harvest season, it could be a sore spot for you. Because you hadn't planted anything up until this point.
But it's okay.
It's okay. You just gotta hunker down for a little bit and just be patient, because your time to start planting those seeds again is gonna come back around.
Correct.
And when it's time for you to plant those seeds, don't delay, don't lollygag, don't drag your feet. Do what you need to do in that season, because being in alignment with the cosmos, being in alignment with nature, it only benefits you.
And it's very, very important. And you have to know as an individual when is your season, because we all have seasons and cycles and as individuals. So we all have a winter, we all have a summer, we all have a fall, and we all have a spring.
Yep.
So a lot of times we get messed up because we try to plant during our winter.
Speak to that.
So when we plant,
hold on, back that up again. Repeat that one.
Yeah, as individuals, guys, we all have our seasons individually. I have my season. Dave have his season. You have your season. So you have to know when is your spring. You have to know when it's your summer. You have to know when it's your fall, and you have to know when it's your winter, because you don't want to be planting in your winter, right? Yep. You can look at someone else and you can see them planting in their spring, but their spring might be your winter, right? You mess around, you start planting stuff, and you don't see that it's growing because it's not your planting season. It's not your spring.
Yeah.
And then you try to harvest when you're supposed to be planting. So it's really important to get in tune and get in touch with yourself. And the best way to do that is to pay attention to your intuition after you have really gone through and done your internal work.
Right.
Okay.
And if you can't recognize the signs of the season, there, just off the top of my head, there are two ways that you can actually figure out when is your season. And you can back me up or change this if you like. But as above, so below, as within, so without. When we see the seasons change physically around us, that's an indication of our seasons as well. Because when you think about it, during the summertime, we got more time during the day to get things done. The weather, depending on where you live, is not so crazy, so you can actually get out and about and you're not stuck in getting things done. So for a lot of people, their planting time is that spring through summer. they really get their work in. And then through fall and winter, that's when they really reap the benefits, and it kind of starts all over again. But for some individuals, it could be different.
Right. And I think to better gauge that, what I've noticed, most people usually their harvest season is around their birthday.
True.
That season right there, when you were born. That's usually the time when you're supposed to be reaping, if that makes sense.
It does.
So if you're a summer baby, you're more than likely your harvest season would be in the summertime. For me, what I've noticed, I'm born in September. I'm a Libra. So what looking back in my life, literally, the majority of times, like let's say I'll get a new job or I'll start a new business, a venture, or I got my real estate license, right? I got it from in September. My birthday is September the 23rd. I got my license I passed the exam September the 13th. And I was sitting in seat number 13. It's crazy, isn't it? But and then it's just around the fall season is when I really have a lot of harvest because that's my birthday every single year. It doesn't fail.
Right.
It happens. When is my winter? I think my winter is probably going to be like January is usually my winter, right? But my harvest is typically always around September, October, November. That's when I'm really flourishing. Pay attention to your life and get a map.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to take some time and look back in your life because you're the one that can really, analyze and see, when you notice these patterns because the patterns in your life is gonna actually show you for the majority of the time when is your winter, when is your summer, when is your fall, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have a good memory. Go back, if you can, go back for the past decade and see if you can draw similarities. Like, okay, patterns. in 2006, 2005, whatever have you, January, what was I doing? February, what was I doing? And try to see if you can go through and mark it out from 10 years back and draw the correlation and see, hey, when am I usually doing bad or when am I usually doing good? And so this will kind of give you a gauge as to when should I start planting seeds and when should I be harvesting. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah. And would you say that your natal chart or your astrology would help
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, the natal chart, you can literally just match it up with what you're actually going through. Like, look at your experiences and you should be able to match it up with your natal chart.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, hey, those are some helpful tips for you all to really be able to go back and just pinpoint to see when is your season, when it's not your season. When are things just clicking for you? Mm-hmm. When are things a little bit of a struggle? Yeah. And just understand that life is a cycle.
Yeah, it really is.
You have your ups and you have your downs, but all of it together creates a beautiful picture.
It's a rhythm.
Okay? And with rhythm, if you got that good rhythm, you got that good music. Because remember, in every beautiful melody, there are high notes and there are low notes. But when it's all together, it's a beautiful song.
Right. And always remember, it's that space. That space that separates them. It's always a space between the highs and the lows.
All right. So if this information was helpful for you, please drop a comment below. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you did like it. Subscribe to the channel. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Yes. And I believe that's it for right now.
Yeah, we don't want to be too long. We just now coming back, so we're not going to be too lengthy.
No.
So yeah, that's it. Just know when it's your season, guys. Find out when is your season. Avoid planting in your winter. You don't want to do that.
No.
Don't look at others and try to emulate because again, it might be their harvest, it might be your winter. if that makes sense. If you don't understand, if you just join and go back and watch a video, we kind of did break that down. Pay attention to your intuition. Okay, you have that intuition is there to gauge you, to guide you. Please pay attention to your intuition. It can literally save your life and maybe the life of others, not just your own. Okay?
Literally.
If you're being pushed to do something, do it. If you feel that inner guidance telling you to leave, leave. This is the time for us to really start paying attention to it. I'm telling you, ever since we started paying attention to our intuition, I'm telling you,
big changes,
huge big changes. Like right now, I feel so fulfilled.
It saved us from pitfalls.
Literally saved us. Because I know sometimes my baby look at me like, she's crazy. Where she get this from? But then 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month down the line, he'd be like, yeah, okay. I ain't gonna lie, it did look a little cray-cray, but hey, good thing, right? We paid attention. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you definitely want to pay attention to your intuition, guys. That's what we're gonna leave you with today. Pay attention to your gut feeling.
Yeah. And recognize when it's your season and when it's not. Well, recognize what season you're in and act accordingly.
Exactly. That's even a better one. Recognize what season you're in your life and act accordingly. Because like my baby said, as above, so below, as within, so without. Nature has seasons. Mm-hmm. You have seasons.
And with that, we leave y'all. We love y'all.
Love you.
Peace out.
Peace.